Hello, time to record some more videos. Today we're gonna look at another game against Hikaru Nakamura. This time they are playing in Romania in the Bosna Kings tournament. And as you can see here, Magnus shared first place with Sergei Karyakin. So good result both for Karyakin and Magnus. And I only selected one game here. We have selected the game against Hikaru Nakamura. It's a very interesting one. And you can see there was lots of strong players here. I think Nicepianu is a Romanian, so that's why he's playing also the famous players here. So Magnus is white, and let's put on the computer and also request some kind of analysis here. So at this period in time, often it was quite fun games between Nakamura and Carlsen, and Nakamura is playing his main line. He was playing like the Dutch here a few games ago. If you have seen that one, which is not. I don't think that was his main opening, and it didn't go very good for him to experiment with such an unsound opening as the Dutch against Magnus. So here he is playing his main line, which is the Queen's Gambit declined, and at this period in time they used to play this move order to not allow Bishop G5, the exchange variation with Bishop G5. So Magnus does Bishop F4 instead, and apparently, don't know this move so good, but apparently he wants to go around here to challenge the queen. I don't really know the theory here, but seems like they can just trade bishops here. And interestingly, Magnus decides to take here to give Hikaru a doubled pawn, and we will see later why he does that. The reason is that he is going for a long castling here. In this kind of is called the Carlsbad structure, can come from many different openings, both with black and white. And the most fun way to play these ones are to castle long here and start running with the pawns here. Then it will be a very interesting game. Otherwise, if white, the classical plan is for white to castle short and go for what's called the minority attack here with pushing the pawns and maybe put a knight on c5. But modern computer analysis suggests that this queenside plan is defendable for black, but it actually, I don't think the computer is such a fan of this long castling either. So this is a risky plan, but it's a fun plan. It goes for a fun game. So if you want a fun game, do like this. So he starts to play. He make a castle here, and Hikaru develops, and he does f3. F3 is kind of one of the keys. Like sometimes they, like modern players, they don't used to start with the classical d5, e6, bishop e7. They used to start with knight f6, e6, and if white then plays Queen's Indian, then of course you can play d5 and you don't have to worry about this f3 and knight e2 stuff here in the Carlsbad structure. And if they play knight c3, then of course you can go for the Nimzo Indian, or maybe also the Ragoshin, or what's that one called where you take this c4. So there's many. I forgot what that's called now. There is many kind of lines here to not get into this kind of a position. But it's fun to see that they have this one here. So Hikaru already starts with the b5, and here looks like the computer thinks Magnus should not play e4. Yeah, there is no real point to e4 as I see it. Better used to start moving your pawns. One thing that's a little bit interesting here is that Hikaru has not castled, and when white starts to run with the pawns here, one tactic is sometimes to maybe do queen b6 and castle long, but this b5, it makes it look like Hikaru is in no plans to castle long, that he wants to castle short and go for the fight here. So this is how they decided to play it. Because it's not really sure who like benefit from the open center, and maybe you can push, but there is like a square here, so it's not so clear like who benefits from this. And also this kind of structure here could be a bit dangerous for white if black goes here, for example, takes open the a file. So if knight v6, white would probably play knight c5 is my guess here. But can see what the computer thinks. I think is okay, it's I have the castle first, or this one is hanging with check, of course. So he castles, and if he would do that now, yeah, only move is knight c5, but that doesn't give black anything really. So he develops the rook, and white does e5. Yeah, I guess you had to do this sooner or later, if black would do something like that. Okay, and here it seems like Hikaru is making a mistake here. Computer likes knight g4 better than knight e5. Let's see what can happen. Yeah, a5, h5 is logical. Then g5. Bishop c1 is fine. Knight f8, start to defend. It would be an interesting game here. Hard to decide who is better or not. But it looks like black has done a lot of move on the king side and white also, and actually black would like to play a lot of move on the king side, or on the queen side actually, try to get an attack here, but he yeah, so it's the moves are being made here on the side that white wants, but of course black has quite a good control of the center, so it's not so bad. Here apparently white does the right move and try to open the position at once here, and here he makes a nice move. He is doing h6. It's quite easy to see here that it's not possible to take it because of this, and it's looks impossible to guard that one. Like knight f6, it's just to take that one, I guess, or even something like this apparently is correct here. And it's gonna be made here soon. So it can go very quick if black is not careful here. I guess one of the plans with going knight f4, knight g4 is that sometimes you can put the knight here on h6 as a blockade. So he can't take, he has to play g6 here. And yeah, now it's normal to move the bishop back. And he does this one, and of course knight c5 will always come when black does that. Maybe something like this would be better. Yeah, computer like this one a bit better actually. Thought also about this one. Point is if here, then you can take. Yeah, that's interesting, but it's a bit unlogical to play like that, but it was an alternative at least, because now okay, so he doesn't take with the queen. Actually the computer thinks the queen ending here is also good for white. Okay, can't take here anyway. Yeah, good. with a very good position for white here. So maybe it's easy in these kind of positions that you look for mate, but this ending looked very good for white actually. And here we place the correct move. b3 here to get some space. Why can't he just move back? Apparently it's this one. It's a good shot. Okay, and the reason is that you could, I guess you win this pawn now, or what? Okay, you can take on g5 now. And that's a very nice move, e6. It wins a tempo, you can't keep that pawn anyway, so it just e6 just wins a tempo because he has to take with the rook, can't take with the pawn because of here of course, and then here. Now either this one will hang, and if this one is hanging then rook is here. So it was alert by Nakamura to play b3 here in between to get a square here for the knight eventually, and we can see that this is like the black is hoping for this one because it's yeah, let me just analyze this because it looks like black is winning the queen here, but apparently white can get some counterplay here. Yeah, it's checkmate. Okay, but so he has to do that one because yeah, here and bishop here was just mating, and now we can take here and apparently check here, check. Yeah, now you can't lose these rooks, so it has to go here, take, and yeah, apparently black is a bit better here. Okay, so that's also quite an interesting line. But of course, it's completely illogical to take here with the pawn because knight b4. So of course he took with the queen here. Looks like h7 was also interesting. Sometimes you want to push that because a plan for black here could be to just blockade on h7, and because white has a dark squared bishop, it can be better for white to play h7, yeah, to put in these moves basically. But it's no hurry because he has to move this one or take care as it is now. And now you could also always do the check if that's good, but he decided to put the knight here, and that's also a move that the computer likes. What about this? Okay, so the computer wants to play like this. Yeah, this piece is a little bit vulnerable, especially after rook e5. No, so this looks fine now. Okay, so this was an alternative. Not so easy to see. And there is also this saying like Patzer sees check, Patzer gives check, so often it's good practice to don't just give the check and not wait. But in this position, as we can see here, maybe black can, maybe he could play this and you don't get a chance, but yeah, it's not working because of this tactic here. So then it's no hurry to play h7 basically. Okay, Hikaru took this pawn and black found. That's actually, I think that's very excellent play by Magnus, finding this maneuver that the computer also liked a lot here. So that's just very good, impressive chess by Magnus. It was not an obvious maneuver for me, but if you realize that black otherwise can just put the king here, then of course it makes some sense. And now h7 is a big threat, because if you go here you can take here, so black has to defend f7 here. And now as we can see, it's winning for white already here. Magnus does this. This is the best move. It again, it's threatening h7 here, take, and then take the rook. So that's why he defends here. Computer thought this was a better try, and he's going back because this was a threat. Not so clear. White has a good position, but yeah, maybe this with the plan to activate the bishop like this is correct. Let's look at the main line here. Something like that maybe. Maybe sometimes you can do this. Okay, so it was a better try for black here. Let's see what happened. Rook f8, defending here. Okay, but he can put the rook here. Now he did f5, f6. Now he can't do f6 because this one is hanging now. That's why he sometimes wants to do rook e4 to be able to do f6 and don't have to worry about that one. I see. Okay, so he's tried this one, but yeah, of course you can open still here. Yeah, so strangely enough, this was the best. That's just weird. Weird one. Why is that the one the best? Is it because queen here and take was a threat sometimes? I guess. So what about this? Here. Check. And now this is a threat, yeah. But there is apparently a queen sack here that's winning. Let's look at that. I want to see what this is about. And apparently these pawns is enough for white to win here. That would have been a good end. The computer likes this one. Is there some... Yeah, if you go here then you can take care, of course. Because there is no longer this fork in winning the queen. Let's see what happened. Magnus played here instead. It's also logical covering here. But it gives black the chance to trade queens. But this endgame is winning anyway. He's pawn up and strong pawn on h7. Okay, so that's a nice trick. If he takes, then obviously it's winning the exchange there in the end. So Hikaru tries to go back. It's threatening mate like this. Okay, he will go here then here. crushing position for white, so it's not strange that Hikaru resigned here. Very nice game by Magnus, and he shared first place here with Sergei Kayakin in the Basna Kings tournament in Romania. Next time we're going to look at a game from the Biel Chess Festival, and it's again Magnus against Alexei Shirov. Feels like Magnus always wins against Shirov for some reason. Shirov is interesting player, but he has very hard for Magnus apparently. Okay, see you then.